Fair enough.
Anyway, let's get into comics. How about that?
You want to get into comics already?
Yes.
All right, let's get into comics.
So we decided to bring our current favorite 3 comics to recommend.
most recent
I would
reads.
say no spoilers on these, right? We're not going to give away what happens in them, but just
No, I might read the synopsis off the back, talk about some of the things I enjoyed about it. I might open to like a random page just to point something out, but I mean,
you're way more prepared on this than I am.
well, I don't have a specific page picked out. Do you want me to go first then?
No, I can go first. I mean, I'm not going to be as detailed as you, but sure, go for it.
We're fine. Well, I was going to say, like, we both have very different tastes in comic books.
And they're about to be shown.
Yes, neither one of us have actually read any of the other one's 3 comics. So,
I've read a little bit of Last Ronin, but not that one. No.
Well, ladies first. Tell me about the Silver Coin.
Oh yeah, Silver Coin. This is an anthology book, so it's short stories in it, but they overlap with each other.
Scott Zdarsky.
Can you guess what the silver coins are?
I'm going to guess. I see an upside down cross. I'm going to guess Judas.
Yes, you're correct. So it's the passing of the coins. Every single time someone finds it, obviously something bad happens to it. Again, I don't want to give spoilers because it's really well done. It's a horror, definitely a horror story. So if you like horror, a little bit of gore, I wouldn't say that much. It's not as bad as Crossed can be, but I mean, there's a lot of levels to get to before you get into Crossed. But I do recommend it. Again, it's going to be short stories in here that overlap with each other, with the theme being that each time a character gets the silver coins or the bag of coins, as you say, Judas's coins, bad things happen. So I do recommend it. The silver coin.
All right, fair enough. And then, right straight in line with that, absolutely not. I'm bringing it back. The Last Ronin.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And if you don't know anything about The Last Ronin, it is, in fact, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You don't know who that is. You notice that the mask is black, and that's because it's supposed to start off as a mystery. It's a future New York City.
Don't tell them who it is.
Oh, I'm not going to.
Okay.
Urban battlefield, New York has kind of been taken over by the Foot in general. It's kind of like they've taken over New York City. They are the law. And there's been some bad things that have happened, and it's kind of about how those happen, who the Last Ronin is, and kind of bringing everything full circle to an end.
Would you say it's Turtles for adults?
Absolutely. In fact, it is so Turtles for adults. One of the coolest things about this that I heard the other day is that they are theoretically actually working on a God of War style video game.
Oh, that's cool.
For the Last Ronin. And it is gorgeous. It is all the good kind of dark angsty. There's great action, especially whether or not you grew up with the Turtles. This is a great story. I think even if you just have a passing baseline interest in the Turtles, I think this actually ends up being a pretty good story. The way it ended was pretty good. It got me it got me in the feels a little bit, and yeah, it's a big recommendation for me.
Very nice. I like the art style.
Yeah, it's really
cover is great on it.
So how about you? Would you bring in it next?
My next one is The Nice House on the Lake. So basically, it's an end of the world type of story where a bunch of people are invited on to a lake house by a mutual friend. The friend turns out to be something a little else. And basically, they're all taken to this lake and they find out when they're there that the world is ending. And the story is really great. It's again another horror book. If we have a theme with me, and the relationships between the characters are great. The art style I think is really great too. Well written.
I just want that hat.
Yeah, it is one of the current comics that have been recommended the last couple of years, and I would say if you like horror with a little bit of thriller,
they do a movie
character
or
development,
a movie, something like that.
Not that I know of, but it's great. It has like where is it? Different things like references of notes they've written to each other and stuff.
That's kind of fun.
So yeah, I do highly, highly recommend this one. I just got volume 2 to read. So
from DC's Black Label.
Yes, this is from DC, and my first one was from Image.
Yep.
So.
The Turtles is IDW as always, and for my next pick, I'm moving over to Image. I used to be a big Marvel DC guy, but I'm just so over how terribly written everything's become that I'm exploring other avenues, and that's when I'm going to move over to the Massiverse, to Rogue Sun. I don't know if anybody's been reading any of Radiant Black. This is going to be in that same universe. Radiant Black is excellent. I wish I should have brought that instead. But I have actually really been enjoying Rogue Sun, especially because I feel like was it Boris Kitt from the Hollywood Reporter actually kind of nailed it. Traditional hero storytelling, styling, and a throwback sensibility in a well-told and fun manner.
Power
It really
Rangers?
does. No, not this one. Well, this is actually kind of like mystical Power Rangers, I guess, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's just the one guy. It's about it's about the rogue son. It takes place in New Orleans, which is a great, you get a lot of settings in New Orleans, so that's a lot of fun. It's their own little hometown hero, and it's the rogue son is their version of Spider-Man. Essentially, he's their hero, their Superman, their Batman for Gotham, and the story starts with the power getting passed on to another person, and it's how they're connected, why they're connected, how it's going. It's a really kind of like they said, it's a great throwback to kind of classic superhero storytelling. I'm trying to think of the best way to really describe this, because it really did just give me those like well-written old school start of a superhero career vibe. And it's not overly written. It's not underly written. It's not trying to be something it's not. And quite frankly, I know I brought volume 1. I just finished volume 2. And that is the first issue of volume 2. I'm trying to think of what number that would be. It's probably 6. I'm trying to think where these come in. But literally one of the coolest things I've seen anybody do in a comic book in a long time. It kind of, without giving anything away, and this is really generalizing it a little bit, but they kind of do a choose your own adventure in the beginning of that.
Oh, that's cool.
And the way it gets through it is, it was really awesome. I was really impressed with the idea and the storytelling. I haven't seen anybody do anything like that. For instance, it's been a long time since there's been a really good fan interaction. Also, again, Rogue Son's part of the Massiverse.
For Radiant Black.
Yeah. And I love Radiant Black.
I know.
And like one of the things Radiant Black did that I thought was super cool was they did a QR code vote to see they kind of having like a battle for a MacGuffin. And it was a fan vote to see who would end up with said MacGuffin. And it was just really cool to see them, kind of go back to a fan vote, really give the control back to the people who are enjoying it. And so I'm a big fan of Massiverse in general. I've been really enjoying Rogue Son. I think the best two to come out of the Massiverse are anything Radiant and Rogue Son. Inferno Go Red's okay. Dead Lucky was okay. The Dead Lucky. But big thumbs up for Rogue Son.
Cool. Oh, in my last book, I guess. Yes. Something is Killing the Children.
I love the cover.
I know. It's great. The artwork is fantastic. If you like Harrow County, it is in the same vein as that. It's basically about, let's say, like a secret area of the government.
I'm willing to bet it's about something killing the children.
that basically kills the boogeyman. They go after the monster under your kid's bed and stuff. And there's a storyline, which obviously takes one of them into a small town, and there's a lot of stuff happening in that small town. So highly recommend. I actually really enjoy it. Again, if you like Harrow County, you'll enjoy it. And the artwork is in the same vein. It's really cool.
Well, and one of the things that's really cool about your hardcover there, I don't know if it'll be, can I see your book for a second?
Yes.
I want to see if I can get I'm looking at the camera. Can I get the angle? You can kind of see it along
there's like
the edges. It kind of matches her mask.
It's like her mask,
It's
actually.
embossed to match. And I just think that's so cool.
Yeah. So that's the last book I have.
That's the last book you have.
And you brought your last one, which is a banger. Which
I've been talking about this one a lot because this one got like
surprised you, right?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. It got randomly shown to me, and I was like, well, listen, if the cover's not going to sell you, it's called Do a Powerbomb. It's also Image. This is a great little one shot. I'm just going to give everyone here the quick background on the back here. Luna Steel Rose wants to be a pro wrestler, but she's living under the shadow of her mother, the best to ever do it. Everything changes when a wrestling-obsessed necromancer asks her to join the grandest pro wrestling tournament of all time, which is also the most dangerous. It's the Wrestler meets Dragon Ball Z in a tale where competitors get more than they ever bargained for.
When you told me about
this summer,
when you told me about it, I was like, oh, it's just a wrestling con. But you're like, no, there's a necromancer in here. And I'm like, what? How do you get wrestling and necromancer in the same vein? Which is great.
I love the art.
Yeah, the art's great.
The art is absolutely fantastic. The story is great. There's enough little twists and turns. And for just being like, not like the biggest comic in the world. It's not teeny tiny either.
One shot.
But the amount of story that they it's so well written, so well paced. I feel like they cover a lot of good ground. There's no wasted space. There's no, I can't say I was really left with any questions or
that's great.
wanting. I really feel like this is a really good complete package. And this is a like I said, this was kind of randomly shown to me at a local comic book shop. I really appreciate him pointing it out because I enjoyed the heck out of it.
I was really surprised you did too.
Yeah, I was. I mean, as soon as I finished reading it, I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I was recommending it to a bunch of our friends. So if you're out there, you're looking for something to read, something, just a little bit different.
If you like wrestling and you're a necromancer.
Yeah, all I can say is,
Or you play a necromancer in Diablo. There you go.
Right. All I can say is do a powerbomb.
Yeah. So I think that's everything we wanted to talk about.
Well, no, I have one last question for you.
Oh.
Actually, I probably have two.
Okay.
If I'm being truly honest. You and I are really on different sides of comics here. Neither one of us has read the other's comics out of the three.
Oh, easily. Wrestling and necromancer.
Really? Okay, wrestling necromancer.
Yeah.
All right. I would have actually guessed Last Ronin, so I'm a little surprised.
I mean, I feel like The Last Ronin is something I would pick up for myself to read, where I probably would have looked. I was like, oh, wrestling. I'm not really big into wrestling, so.
Well, neither am I, but that's what makes it.
But the thing, the twist of the necromancer and the dark, that was kind of looping me in.
Well, one of the fun things about Do a Powerbomb too, I know I'm going to whip it right back over there for a second, was that like if you actually, a lot of the times I'll just kind of blow past the foreword in a comic, like in a graphic. But I read this one and it was really interesting because the guy got the concept because he had just had his first kid. They were figuring out the sleep cycle. And so he had, at this point he's talking about in the foreword, he's watched everything from cooking shows to the History Channel to sports. He was looking for something new. I believe one of his friends recommended Japanese pro wrestling. He was like absolutely like, why would I want to watch that?
Yeah.
And then he absolutely fell in love with it. And the birth of the child and taking care and the
is the reason for this book.
And that's exactly where this whole thing ties in. So especially if you do read this too, I do really recommend, strangely, reading the foreword because I think it adds a lot to the value of the book.
Cool. What about mine? I know.
You know exactly what I'm going for. What am I going for?
Something's killing the children?
Nailed it. Got it.
Really?
One.
Oh. Yeah, I can see that. It's a little bit more action packed than the other ones. These are definitely more character depth books and horror.
Well, I'm not horror-y and I'm not like.
You're not horror-y?